One of the best things about the Independent Show is the lunches, because you get to meet people like Ross here and reflect on some of the things we heard. And one of them was by former Congressman Walden about the whole idea of all this funding coming in and from different departments and what does it all mean. And you have a real story of different grants that you guys have or funding for a project fiber build. So let's talk about 2019 and receiving some of these funds. We'll have a conversation about that process.
Yeah, sure. So we were able to kind of quilt together one of our last projects. Actually, the project we're starting just next week, actually. Quilting together a Reconnect grant with some RDOF funding, as well as some state grant projects and stuff like that. So it literally is a quilt if you look at a map, filling in the areas with the different support programs. The problem with that is obviously there's an accounting issue where you have to keep all of those funding areas and the CPRs, things of that sort, all separated. And
CPR?
Continuing property record. Okay. The other hard part is they were all different programs. So they all have different rules, regulations, and things of that sort. And one of them was a Reconnect program, which took quite a long time, unfortunately, to go through the hoops to get the government funding. You know, USDA rules are different than state grant rules and things of that sort. So we actually were awarded that quite a few years before we actually got final approval. Different things, environmentals, stuff like that had to be approved by America. That was a big issue as well. In the process, life's changed. Prices changed. Exactly. So we actually saw a pretty sizable, almost 30% increase in prices for all of our equipment and some of the things that we couldn't get. We thought we could get them, but we couldn't. We obviously did at some point in time since we're starting. The match has definitely changed. Where we thought it was a price at this level, it actually is a price at this level. And in going back to USDA and asking for more money since the price has changed, the answer really isn't, yeah, we'll give you more because it costs more. It's, no, you need to do a little bit less. Obviously, that's not fair. It's not fair to the people that we wouldn't be, getting to going forward. But so we're going to keep on keeping on, and we'll expanding it and using those other programs. And I don't want to dog on these programs too much. If it wasn't for these programs, we wouldn't be there and these customers wouldn't be getting broadband. So I do appreciate them, but it's been really hard over the last couple of years to keep up and to forecast the actual costs that have changed.
Clearly there's a challenge because at the same time there is a lot of money that's coming in, but that money you couldn't necessarily use for this because it's already assigned, right?
Yeah, definitely. And now we have different BEAD and ARPA and all these other things that are coming down, and they all have different rules as well. It's going to be challenging to stay on top of all this and to forecast properly, knowing that there is some supply chain issues, there is some contractor issues and things of that sort. It's kind of tough, but then again, it's the nature of the beast right now.
I think you were mentioning, or someone was mentioning, just how the fiber is not there. It's a couple of years out, it sounds like, right?
It depends on what kind of fiber you want. Everybody kind of tosses out and says, oh, well, I can get it from this person here and I can get it from that person there. But everybody uses different fiber, from loose tube to ribbon to things of that sort. So it really depends on what you're ordering. But yeah, in some cases, they're multi-months to over, a couple of years out, depending on what you're ordering, what you need.
And it sounds like there's a lot of pricing uncertainty as well.
Yes, we're being told by quite a few vendors that, we can get that order for you, but you'll pay the price of whatever it is when we deliver it, not what it is today. To me, that's a little unfair. It's like ordering a truck and getting it 6 months, which is a whole nother issue, but getting it another 6 months later and then just paying the current price of that truck. It's really hard to set up business plans and to operate efficiently that way.
And why don't you tell us a little bit about where you guys are located? For instance, was this an overbuild that you were doing, or extending out past your normal incumbent territory?
Yeah, our incumbent territory has been fiber to the home, fully fiber to the home since probably 2015, 2014 time. We actually started fiber to the home. I always say we started before there was an iPhone. So we were one of the early adopters. All this stuff that we're talking about now has been expansion areas. It's been growth areas into places that don't have broadband today. I always say we're connecting the unconnected. Most of it has been some Minnesota border-to-border areas, some state grant areas, RDOF, but all of them have met, which is another thing, met the definition of unserved for the program that it is. And each of them has their own different definition, but for the most part, everybody was unserved in the areas that we've been.
Excellent. Well, I wish you luck in navigating all this. It's a challenge.
Yeah,
So
thanks.
thank you.
Thank you.